on a 244,000 naira salary, how am I going to be able to pay rent? How can I be able to pay my bills? How can I be able to even travel or say I want to buy bone straight or I want to be a baby girl? It's really, really crazy. So right now, as a house officer, the hospital you're working in is not going to be the hospital that's going to be paying you your salary. Your salary is going to be coming from Abuja. Hi guys, Bella here. I am a medical doctor and a small business owner, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys how much I earn as a medical doctor who is currently practicing in Nigeria in a federal hospital, as well as how much every single doctor who works in Nigeria, based on the different levels they are, from the consultants to the senior registrars to medical officer, and even to those who are doing NYSC, how much they earn. So that if you want to bill them, you know, okay, if I'm billing this amount of money, do they really have it? Because sometimes I've discovered that people have a misconception of how much doctors earn in Nigeria, and I'm going to be sharing every single thing with you guys. And that's not even the best part. I'm also going to be sharing towards the end of this video how much I earn as a medical doctor who is currently practicing in Nigeria, and what other opportunities present for you as a medical doctor in Nigeria. So stay to the end of this video if you want to get all the updates about how much you earn as doctors. Before I start this video, I have to do a disclaimer ahead of time so that you guys can have like a full information of all the details I'm going to be sharing with you guys, right? So first of all, you have to understand that these prices are not fixed and they differ according to different hospitals and also according to the institution you're working in. So if you're working in like a federal hospital, even as house officers, we don't earn the same thing with those who are working in HMOs. So we have like those who work in federal hospitals, those who work in state hospitals, those who work in ministries, those who work in HMOs, those who work in private hospitals, and also those who are doing NYSC. So according to the different institutions, we have like different prices for all of them. But I'm going to be giving you like an overview of what the average salary is for people within like the federal institution, because that's like the biggest institution that employs most doctors in Nigeria. I'm going to be sharing details for those who are in non-training programs, such as people who are MOs. MOs are like medical officers who are not undergoing residency. They also have like a different cadre for them, as well as those who are undergoing residency, those who are like the junior residents, the senior residents, and the consultants, which is the peak of the ladder. I'll be sharing with you guys every single thing you need to know, making this disclaimer so that you can know that these salaries vary, but the meat of the matter is that I'm going to be sharing the average salary of at least most institutions. It can go a little bit higher, it can go a little bit lower, also depending on the negotiation you have with the institution you're working with. Okay, so with that being said, let's head straight into the video. I'm going to be starting with the list in the cadre, which is the one that everybody undergoes immediately after medical school, which is like the house officer level, right? So when you finish medical school, you're going to have to do house job for you to be able to get like your permanent license, for you to be able to practice in Nigeria as a medical doctor, irrespective of whatever pathway you want to take, whether you want to take the residency pathway or you want to become a medical officer or you want to work in a private hospital. Everybody has to do like a house job for you to be able to get your permanent license. And currently, house officers in Nigeria earn two different salaries. I need to give a disclaimer also, because as house officers, the Medical Dental Council of Nigeria has institutionalized the house job into like a particular bracket, and all hospitals that work under this bracket earn the same salary across board. However, there are people who still do their house job in HMOs or who do their house job in state universities that are not under MDCN, and those people do not earn as much as people who are working under MDCN hospitals, right? So right now, as a house officer, the hospital you are working in is not going to be the hospital that's going to be paying you your salary. Your salary is going to be coming from Abuja, which is coming from the Medical Dental Council of Nigeria currently. And right now, before you get like a placement for house job, MDCN opens the portal, so you have to open an account with them. Most likely when you're even in final year, before you graduate, your school is going to help you open an account, have like a registration number and your folio number, which you can use to apply for house job. Right now, anybody can apply for house job anywhere in Nigeria under the MDCN bracket. When you go to the website, there are like different hospitals that are available. You click the one that you want to do your house job in, and then you send like immediately you get like a I think you get like a letter that will tell you that, you know, they've secured this a slot for you, and then you can go ahead to start your registration processes. But whether you're doing your house job in the east, in the west, in the north, under MDCN bracket, everybody earns the same money. So if you're working in a hospital in Lagos, you're going to be earning the same to someone who's working in a hospital in Abia State or who's working in a hospital in Enugu State. So the prices are the same, regardless of like the standard of living in the different cities you are in. I had that before. House officers, the prices usually used to vary based on like the hospital you are working with and how much the hospital is paying. But right now, everything is under the MDCN bracket, basically. So I needed to put that information out first. So as a house officer in Nigeria, you're going to be earning 244,000. Initially, it used to be, I think as at last year, beginning of last year, it used to be about I think 200k, 204k, about that, and then it was increased to 214k, and then it was increased to 244k, which is what this house job salary currently is. Although they haven't really affected the new minimum wage, so I do not know if they're going to affect that new minimum wage. I'm giving you how much people are being paid based on the current one before the increase in the minimum wage as instructed by Tinubu, our president. All right, so hospitals in Nigeria earn 244,000 naira a month. For people who are working under HMOs, like hospitals in Abuja, such as Maitama Hospital, Jabi, FMC. Okay, I think FMC Jabi is under MDCN, I think. But I know Maitama is not under MDCN, Asokoro is not under MDCN, and a lot of other hospitals in Abuja are not under MDCN. And people that are working under HMOs, I think they earn about 180,000, 184,000. 119,000, but I heard that they've increased their salary to 200 and something k, but I'm not so sure about that information. So basically, what I mentioned earlier in the video, people who work under HMOs usually do not earn as much as those who are working in hospitals that are under the MDCN, right? So yes, that's one of the things I also wanted to state. Moving on to the next stage after house job. So immediately after you finish your house job, you have to go for your NYSC, which is the 1 year compulsory service to the Nigerian government, right? Now, the trick about NYSC is that during your NYSC years, they are most likely not going to be earning as much as you earn. In fact, they're not going to be earning as much as you earn during your house job years. Sometimes it can be as bad as you earning half of it, or even 1/4 of what you used to earn during your house job. So it's very, very important that you save up your money while you are doing your house job, so that you can be able to buffer up the effect of NYSC and not being able to earn as much as you used to earn. And also, you might be doing your NYSC in a new city, in a new state, and you might need to pay money for rent and other expenses of moving to a new city, right? So the average salary, okay, first of all, when you talk about NYSC, the federal government pays the same amount of money to every youth corper. So you're going to be earning your 33,000 naira that is being paid monthly. However, as the doctor who is currently doing their NYSC, the state government also pays you different fees. So depending on the state you are working in, some states pay as much as 70k, some states pay 80k, some 40k, some 50k, some 90k. But generally, most NYSC doctors earn from as low as 70,000 naira per month. That's when you put all the money they are being paid together, 70,000 to as much as 150k, 180k, depending on when they are working in. So generally, you're going to be earning less than you would earn when you're doing your house job. So it's very important for you to plan ahead and also put this into cognizance when you're also thinking of where you want to move to for your NYSC years. Now, after your NYSC years, there are now two different lines that you can go through. You can either go to the Japan route, that's you want to leave the country, or before you leave the country, you have to write certain exams. So you might also need to save up money if you don't have support from your family. So there are different routes in the medical practice, right? There are those who go into the non-training programs and those who go into the training programs. So the non-training program is you basically getting a job as a medical officer in a hospital, in a federal hospital, in a state hospital, local government, and different cadres, or even working in a private hospital, or you going into a training program, which is starting your residency, right? So let's say you want to take up a non-training program. So most times you earn as much as 3.6 million naira per year, which brings you to about 300,000 naira per month as a medical officer in a federal institution. Remember what I said earlier on, these prices can vary, they can be higher, they can be lower, depending on where you're working, depending on your negotiation with the hospital, and depending on what offers are available at that point in time, and also the states you are going to be working in. The next level in the non-training cadre is the principal medical officer, which is the next rank after a medical officer. And for that rank, that would probably take up to 3 years, or I don't know, depending how many years it takes to get to that level. And as a senior medical officer, you can be earning 5.4 million naira per year, which brings it down to $276 per month using the current exchange rate of I think 1,609 or 1,610. I will shall write what the current exchange rate is. So that we have the principal medical officers, which are the highest level for the non-training jobs. At that level, the difference between how much you are going to be earning and consultant is 100,000 naira. So for a consultant, you earn 100,000 naira for your specialty fee for going through a training program up to the peak. So if the consultant is earning let's say 800k, a principal medical officer is going to be earning 100,000 naira less. So they'll be earning 700k, on a consultant is going to be earning 800k, right? So now let's move on to the next cadre, which is the training cadre, right? So once you're done with your house job and you want to go into the medical training as a medical doctor, you have to write exams, right? So you have to write your primaries first in the specialty you have interest in. So if you want to work in surgery, you want to do medicine, you want to do family medicine, you want to do psychiatry, you have to write like primaries for that. And then when you pass your primaries, you can now start your residency. So the first cadre is for you to become a junior resident. And the good thing is that while you're doing your house job, you can write your primaries while you're doing your house job or during your NYSC years, right? Junior resident doctors, on average, you earn like 3.78 million per year, which brings it down to about $197 per month and down to like 315,000 naira per month. Remember what I said earlier on about the prices also different by the institution you're working in. It could be higher, it could be lesser, and also as things are being reviewed, minimum wage is being affected, the new minimum wage is being affected. I also believe that some of these prices might also change when these things are actually affected, right? So that's how much like a junior resident, that's how much an average junior resident is earning in Nigeria, from 300,000 to like 315,000 naira, right? And after you finish your junior residency and you pass your part 1 exams, you become like a senior resident doctor. And as a senior resident doctor, you'll be earning 5.4 million naira per year, which brings it down to 450,000 to 510,000, depending on the institution you're working in, like I mentioned earlier. But that's like basically the average amount that they earn per month. Then after this level, if you write your part 2 exams and you pass your part 2 exams, you become a fellow. So when you become a fellow, consultant actually is like a title or rather a contract to the hospital, that the hospital gives you a contract to work in the hospital as a consultant, right? So as a consultant, also their prices differ from like, you know, sometimes as low as 500k up to as much as 1 million naira per month, depending on your negotiation with the hospital and also depending on the center you're working in, right? But the thing is that the consultants, you have the amount of money you're going to be earning when you start your consultancy before you become like a senior consultant who has worked for a couple of years. So as a consultant in Nigeria, you most likely will be earning between 8.4 million naira to as much as 12 million naira per year. But that depends again on the institution you're working with and what your agreements with them are, right? So also bear in mind that it takes time to grow even as a consultant, from a junior consultant level to like a senior consultant level, and that brings their average salary to about $479 per month. So guys, this is basically how much the different levels in the medical cadres are being paid. But then again, I also want to talk about people who work in the private practice in Nigeria. So some people have finished medical school, they've done their NYSC, they don't want to work for government institutions, right, or government hospitals. So some people decide to go into private practice, which we call PP, the popular PP probably would have been hearing, or we also call it locum, right? So if you're working as a PP doctor in a hospital, like now, post house job, you can earn as much as 250,000 naira to as much as 350,000 naira, 400k, depending on how much you negotiate with the hospital and also depending on the kind of skills you have. So if you have like some surgical skills, you know how to set a central line, you know how to set like, you know how to do like femoral catheterization, then you have like some certifications, basic life support training, certifications and stuff like that. You can be able to negotiate way higher than somebody else who do not have these skills. But bear in mind that everything is all about negotiation. It's not always about having these skills. It's about how well or how good you are at putting yourself out there, that you have like 100% of the requirements or not, because at the end of the day, everything is about how much you negotiate. So I know some of my colleagues who just finished house job and who are earning 350k per month from their private practice. Also, there are some centers that are also known to pay more, or rather there are some states that are known to pay more than other states. Example, people who are doing private practice in Lagos State tend to earn more money than people who are doing private practice in, like, let's say in some cities in the east or even in some remote areas, right? So all this is also matters a lot. Then also as a medical doctor, you also have the opportunity to be working and also be working in the private practice. I have my colleagues who I'm doing house job with too. As they were doing house job, they were also doing private practice. For me myself, I couldn't put myself through that stress, so I didn't do any PP work while I was doing my house job because I already have a business I currently run and I'm making money from that, and that's even less stressful for me doing, like, working in the hospital during the day and still having to go to another hospital to work during the night, right? But I know people who took up jobs like that, so it depends on what your circumstances are, what your financial needs are, and what you're capable of doing at the end of the day. So yes, also as a medical doctor, there are also other opportunities for you to work. You can work with like NGOs, you can work with like Ministry of Health, you can work with like HMOs, insurance company, health tech, and under these different categories, most times they tend to earn more, especially those who are under like the health technology industry, right? They end up working more because it's like tech, something that pays well, right? And yeah, that's basically it when we talk about like salaries of how much a typical Nigerian doctor is going to be earning. Okay guys, the final meat of the matter: how much does Bella earn as a medical doctor? What is her own salary? Like, what is Bella's own salary? Is she living above her means? Is she living below her means? What exactly does she earn? So you guys, I'm currently a house officer in Nigeria, and I was fortunate enough to get a house job under MDCN. So I currently earn 244,000 naira every month from MDCN. And no, medicine is not the only source of income I have. I also earn money from my business. I have one of the largest online bookstores in Nigeria, and I also get salary from my business. So I supplement two of them to be able to afford the kind of lifestyle I currently live. I alone cannot actually afford my lifestyle, right? So it's quite unfortunate that we are working at a time where the salary scheme is very low. When I was in 300 level in medical school, medical doctors were earning like $1,000 per month, $1,200 per month. And then I get to know how bad the economy has gone, because imagine us earning like $1,200, $1,000 as about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And right now, the same people that are doing house job right now are earning like $159. Just imagine $1,200 as against $159. And guess what? The price has even gone up, because at that time, medical doctors were earning like 150,000 naira per month. And then when you convert it to the exchange rate, it was like $1,000, $1,200. But right now, we're earning 244,000 and our salary is $159. And you see that it's not feasible. And this is the reason why doctors are actually leaving the country, because you cannot even be able to afford a basic lifestyle. On a 244,000 naira salary, how am I going to be able to pay rent? How can I be able to pay my bills? How can I be able to even travel or say I want to buy bone straight or I want to be a baby girl? It's really, really crazy. You're the first on call. You have to be in the hospital very early every day. You have to, most times we end up leaving late every single day at work, and we do a lot of work. Sometimes even work as much as 12 hours a day, sometimes 24 hours if you're on a 24 hours call. So it's really, really crazy, you guys. In fact, let me even give you guys a little experience that happened to my friend. My friend had a needle prick when she started her house job, and she was exposed to a patient that has hepatitis B virus. And you guys, she wasn't even able to afford to buy the immunoglobulin. We don't even have insurance as doctors to be able to get the kind of to get, like, you know, medications or vaccines that we need if we're exposed to some of the hazards that we face at work. As a doctor, the hazard used to be like 5,000 naira as a doctor. So imagine, can you be able to afford to buy immunoglobulin that costs like 360,000, 380,000 naira with the hazard fee they are paying you at the end of every month? And this happened to my friend when we just started house job, and at the end of the day, she had to, like, people had to even raise money for her to be able to eventually buy that immunoglobulin. And she had to get that immunoglobulin within 72 hours after her exposure to that needle prick. So this is how crazy it is. And it's even crazier to think that the hospital did not even have the immunoglobulin she needed. Imagine if she was not able to get the immunoglobulin, this that she would have gotten hepatitis B because she had the needle prick in the hospital, in a federal agency that couldn't even give her the money or even give her the immunoglobulin for free, or even give her, or at least try to, like, you know, subsidize it for her. She had to cater for herself. And that's why I always say, as a medical doctor who is currently in Nigeria, you have to look after yourself. You have to ensure that you don't expose yourself, because at the end of the day, the government does not really care about you. And it's quite unfortunate. They don't care about you, and they don't care about your health. And if anything happens to you, nobody is going to ask about you or even come to your rescue. So please make sure you look after yourself. Ensure that you try as much as possible to reduce your risk of being exposed to hepatitis B. Take your vaccines. In fact, after my friend's experience, I had to go and get vaccinated for hepatitis B, because as a doctor who's working in the hospital, it's already a very common hazard for you to be exposed to either HIV patients or patients who have hepatitis, and also other different conditions that you can also find in the hospital. So you guys, it's really, really crazy. But anyway, that brings me to the end of my video. I hope you guys loved this video. If you watch the end of this video, please drop for me a love emoji, a red heart love emoji in the comment section. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. This is actually me exploring outside, like, you know, vlogs. I want to begin to do more educative content for you guys. So let me know what else you want me to talk about, what else you would like to know in the medical profession, in the business profession, because I'm very, very exposed and I have experience in these two areas. Before I made this video, I actually checked YouTube to see if I could see content like this, and I wasn't even able to see content on how much doctors earn in Nigeria. So I really hope that this video brings a lot of enlightenment to you, and also helps you to know what next to do as a medical student or as a medical doctor, or whatever cadre you are in at the end of the day. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for watching my video. Until next time, ta-da!